Change isn't just coming, it's already here. This is Ask for Change podcast, hosted by leadership expert Meridith Elliott Powell. Brings you weekly conversations with leaders and experts who are redefining success in a world of disruption. Let's begin today's journey and turn uncertainty into your competitive advantage.
Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell. Let's turn your uncertainty into a major competitive advantage. I got a great guest for you today, and it's a really interesting and I think a topic that we don't discuss near enough. I have the very powerful Joel Zeff with me today. He has spent 25 plus years turning corporate audiences into improv performers and proving that laughter might be the most underrated business tool out there. He's a keynote speaker, work culture expert, and author of Make the Right Choice. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Meridith, that was an incredible introduction.
Well, I am excited.
Can I take you everywhere?
Yeah, I should. You probably catch it on recording. You can put it on your sizzle reel, right?
Phenomenal.
So listen, I'm so interested in, first of all, I took an improv class with my husband one winter here in Asheville, North Carolina. And I got to tell you, it was some of the most fun we ever had. But kind of walk our audience, how does one go from improv performer to workplace culture expert?
If you find that out, if you let me know, that'd be great. I didn't plan for any of this. I started my career as a journalist. I was a newspaper reporter. And that's how I came to Dallas. And some friends took me to an improv show that first weekend. And it was like the movies where the protagonist does something really important and the music goes, oh, and there's a light, that's exactly what happened. It was pure love. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I wanted to do it. And when they said, we teach workshops, I could not get my money out of my pocket fast enough. And whatever they charged, I would have paid triple because it was my oasis. It was just an amazing, just like when you went and you and your husband, amazing people.
Yes.
And for me, it just was a connection, and it was what I really was looking for. And it was an oasis. I had a tough job at that time as a newspaper reporter. And fast forward a little bit, the newspaper closed. I had a lot of free time. I auditioned. You do have free time when you are unemployed.
Yes. Amazing how that works.
Yeah. There's a lot of free time giving blood. It was a wild time going to the unemployment office. And so I auditioned, joined the troupe, and it was amazing. Loved it. A few months later, I figured out I had to have a job to eat and pay rent. So I started working at a PR agency and then later an ad agency. And one of my clients was Texas Instruments. And they said, we know you do improv on the weekends. We're having this executive retreat. Can you come do some improv with us before dinner? And I kind of went, yeah, sure. It wasn't like I went, let's do this.
Yeah.
It was more of a, yeah, sure, I guess. And it was all men, all VP level, all engineers. So if you're like, what is the best audience ever?
Yeah.
This is the best audience. And I had fun. They had fun. And the light bulb started flickering. And pretty soon other clients were asking me to do it. Word of mouth, people started spreading my name around. And I started doing it. And then I made a video and put it on VHS. This is how long ago it was.
Yeah.
If you'd like, if we could put in the comments for the Gen Z and the millennials what a VHS is.
Yeah, exactly. Go to ChatGPT, look in AI, and get the history of what a VHS is.
Because you, I'm sure you had a demo on.
Oh yeah,
you're around.
Oh yeah, I was around. I had a VHS.
Thousands we spent on VHS tapes, and I just thought it was going to be part of my business, and then it just took over. When you're passionate about something, when you love something and you want to share it, people notice and they want to be a part of it and they want to pass your name around. And when you make them feel great and you're a great partner, they want to pass your name around again and they bring you back. And that's how my speaking career started. And then here I am today on Ask for Change podcast. It all came to this moment.
It all came to this moment. This is what you were hoping for. So listen, so where did the leap of, you're with these executives and they're having a good time, but how does it go to the leap of improving the workplace and improving, the culture? And then I've got another question behind that.
Oh, that's good. So improv was always designed as a teaching tool. A woman named Viola Spolin in the late 1930s, early 1940s created improv for students. She believed if you played a game, it was easier to learn. It was your true self. You could really connect with these big messages and these big teaching moments through fun and play. And so that's what improv is. That's how it was originally designed. And I'm just using improv. And of course, I've manipulated the games to fit my needs for my audience, but it's the same concept. I want my audience to laugh and have fun and play. And then we're going to talk about these really important messages that improv teaches us, choices in how we work together as a team and how we are present and in the moment, how we embrace change and how we don't give up and how important it is to help the people around us find success, that it's not about us, it's about our team. Other concepts about communication and change and being open and flexible. So all these are improv concepts that were originally designed as a teaching tool. And so I'm just taking what improv taught me, and I think what improv teaches all of us, and giving that back to my audience while we laugh and have fun. So we talk about leadership and teamwork and change and culture while we're having fun. And what's exciting is that people, when they're having fun, they're more open to the message.
Yeah.
They embrace it and they retain it. There's a memory there with that laughter.
I think one of the, when I was doing the research on you, I think one of the interesting things about improv as it relates to today's marketplace is that in the face of uncertainty, probably one of the most important skills you can have is the ability to critically think, because you're just constantly given some new problem that nobody thought was going to be a problem. And it comes out of nowhere. And what I found is that I find in the marketplace quite a bit is that people have lost the ability, or maybe that's too strong, they've lost the desire to think, because I just want to keep my head down. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to get in trouble. And I sure don't want to get blamed for anything. So I don't want to have to think my way through this. And I'm just going to do exactly what I'm told. So where does, because that's when I think about improv, the thing that made me laugh about it the most is, first of all, you're completely connected to people you would never be connected to before. If you go take an improv class, like my husband and I went downtown Asheville, we're clearly the oldest people in the room. Everybody's from a different walk of life, and you wind up in these, they split us up into groups, and you're with people from different walks of life, different ages, different goals in life and all that. And all of a sudden you're immediately connected, because what you're doing is working off each other. It's not only just funny, but it's like I'm dependent upon them to come up with a decent phrase or something I can begin to work with. And then I'm going to work with whatever they give me. And I think, oh my gosh, I mean, if workplace cultures could work like that, how powerful would a company be, right?
Yeah, well, improv is very accessible. Everybody can do it. You're going to do it at different levels. Some people are going to be at an expert level. Some people are going to be at a beginner level, but there's always a place for everyone. It's very inclusive, and everybody can participate at their level and get something out of it and have fun. And it's very powerful when you're having fun and you're playing, because you're creating that energy and your true self, and you take away some of the risks, you take away some of your fears, you take away some of being afraid to make a mistake. And that's why it is so powerful. And when I play improv games in my keynote with audiences, what's really awesome to see is what they do, how they respond. They always surprise me. Yeah. Sometimes people are incredible, and I step back and I'm like, wow, where did this come from? And inevitably, every time someone comes up to me and goes, do you know the one guy that was imitating a bull rider? I'm like, yeah, he's the most introverted person in our office. Every time, every single time. I don't know what happens. You just give people the opportunity, and then you match it with positive support, it's amazing what happens. That's the foundation of what I talk about. I'm just giving these people opportunity to be creative, to work together as a team, to lead, to listen, to be present, to be creative. And that gives them ownership. And when that ownership happens, they start to care. They care about the game. They care about their team. They care about what happens. And then the next little magic happens. They start to have passion. They really care about the game. And then when the audience laughs and applauds, what happens is they're going to do more. They produce more because that positive energy is instant. And you just naturally, you build confidence and you try different things. You take a little risk. You're not afraid to make a mistake. And I think that's what, when you're talking about, people keeping their head down, I think people are afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
They're afraid to do something for the first time. And everything's, you're never perfect the first time you do anything, or even sometimes 5th or 6th or 10th or 15th or 20th. And so improv kind of gives you that space and that positive support that allows you to take that risk, allows you to not be afraid to make a mistake. We're going to make mistakes. Every time someone puts a microphone on me, I jump on stage. There's going to be a mistake.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to fumble a word. I'm going to forget something. Something's going to happen. I might trip. I don't know. Who knows? And you know what? Most of the time, 99% of the time, nobody even cares or pays attention. And so you have to kind of give yourself that freedom. And with that freedom comes confidence. And with that confidence, then we get out of our comfort zone. We take those risks. And that's how we grow. That's how we find success. That's how we find the next big idea. That's how we create the team and find and reach our goals and overcome challenges and obstacles. And you have to have that freedom. You have to have that confidence, and you have to have that positive support.
So how does somebody take, when they're at your keynotes and they're having a good time with all this, improv, and they're learning these lessons, how do they translate that back in to the workplace?
I think all of them are choices. I talk about each of these messages as a choice.
Okay.
And so what I want is the audience to think about these choices and start. And I don't think you go home from any speaker and go, I'm going to do everything that person told me to do today. Right. It doesn't work that way. What I want people to think about, what's the one choice that really hit home for them? Is it about giving people more positive support? Is it creating more opportunity? Is it asking your team, what do you need here to be fulfilled? What's going to make you happy? Is it the choice of asking the question, how do I help the people around me be successful, and act on it? It's all choices. And every time we play a game, it's very funny. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Love to see Bob and Lisa, be a ballerina or show the emotion angry or surprised. And it's funny and we feel good about it. But what I'm doing is I'm just giving the audience a visual storyboard. Instead of putting up a PowerPoint and saying, you must embrace change, it's really important. I'm great with an acronym. And what I'm doing is I'm playing the improv game. You're seeing these audience members who may or may not even know each other. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depends on the audience, depends on the group. And they're so effective. They're so creative. They're so successful as a team. What are they doing? They're making these choices. I'm seeing these choices made in real time, not some guy just talking about it. I'm seeing the choices made right there in a tough situation. I'm asking these volunteers to play an improv game and entertain this audience of 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 150. By the way, the smaller the group, the harder it is.
I bet.
The bigger the group, it's much easier for the audience volunteers. And so I'm using the games just as a storyboard. That's it. You're seeing people embrace change, make these choices. You're seeing what happens when I give them opportunity and ownership. What happens when you give them positive support, how they are more present, because improv forces us to be good listeners and be present in the moment, how they help the people around them find success, how they don't give up, they stay in the game. So these are really powerful messages. And every time I refer to the message, I'm referring to the audience members making that choice. And if they can do it, you can go back to your team, your office, your group, and make these choices. It's that that's what I want my audience to see, how easy it is to make these choices.
I was thinking about you this morning. I was thinking about this podcast, and
I was thinking about you too.
and I was thinking about humor in the workplace and the importance of humor in the workplace. And do you think we've gotten more serious in the workplace lately? I was thinking about, the 3 martini lunch, and before, political correctness got into the workplace. And
I think that's a different
yeah,
topic.
yeah, different era, but all that type of thing. But I'm just, and things were so casual, right? Back then, nobody started till 9, everybody went home at 5, everybody took, lunch, those types of things. But have we gotten more serious in the workplace?
Yeah, I don't think it's humor that we miss. I think it's fun and joy. And I think that should be, there's a big difference because fun is a lot of different things. Fun is humor. Humor can be fun.
Yeah.
Fun is also, my daughter is a journalist, and she was telling me on Monday they had election day, and somebody brought up a cake for everybody. That's fun.
Fun, sure. Who doesn't like cake?
Surprise. A salesperson who doesn't have to be there for election night brings up a cake for the journalists who are there for election night.
Yeah.
It's simple choices to bring fun and joy. And then what does that do? That increases our passion. And my fun is different than your fun.
Yeah.
Mentoring someone might be, could be a fun. Training could be fun. Reaching a goal, fun. What is your fun? What brings you joy? What makes you fulfilled at work? And that's your guiding light. And that's what you should always try to bring, try to find, fight for, want, desire, because it's so important to have fun. It fuels our passion. And whatever your choice is, and fun is not offensive, fun is inclusive, fun is for everyone. What is your fun? And how is that going to help you and your team find success?
Yeah, the one thing you can't see is back there on that table. I have a little framed photo. I got written up when I was 24 years old for having fun at work, and
you mean like a
reprimand. Yeah, and I saved it. I've saved it for forever because I was meeting with my team. And I had just gotten promoted into the position, and I started off our team meeting because I thought our team meetings were terribly drab. And I started it off with, they were. And I started it off with, just, I don't know, something silly, I'm sure. And everybody was laughing, and I got in trouble. It's my favorite reprimand, and I've gotten a lot at the office, but it's my favorite reprimand I've ever gotten, because it was, I just couldn't believe I was being written up for having fun at work.
Sometimes you have to fight for fun.
That's right.
And sometimes you realize, I'm in the wrong place. I'm going to go find some place that appreciates fun. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Because there's plenty. I would say the majority wants you to have fun and have joy and enjoy what you do, because that's going to always end up with success, sales, customer satisfaction, however you measure these things.
Right. Engagement and all those things. I listened to a podcast with both, first it was Sarah Blakely, this founder of Spanx, and then Barbara Corker, the shark. And when they asked them about being leaders, they said one of the most important things that a leader can be is fun at work. Like, you should be fun to work for. Now, I would venture to say those are two, women who are incredibly successful. I imagine they're pretty tough too, but I love the fact that they're putting that into play.
You have to create a foundation, right? You have to create the foundation, the opportunity for that fun to happen. And for leaders, when was the last time you asked your team, what makes you happy? What fulfills you? Because that's fun. What is it? And you're going to be surprised by the answer, because it's not more money. That happiness only lasts to the next paycheck, and you're right back where you started. What is that fun? What is that joy? What is that fulfillment that makes you happy? And if a leader asks that of their team, and the team is honest and they get the answer, you're going to be surprised how easy it is to give them that opportunity. And what do you get back in return but a passionate, energized team member? That always will lead to success.
Always gonna lead to bottom line results. What is hard to believe, we are coming to the end of this podcast. And I always like to end it with two questions, and you can answer them in either order. Number one, how do people find out about you? How do they find out about your programs? How do they follow your work? And how do they figure out how to build an engaged, passionate team? And the second is, for people out there dealing with the uncertainty of today's marketplace, the challenges that today's marketplace is bringing, what is your best piece of advice? Where should they start? What should they implement? What is the one choice they should make?
Wow. Those are big. Those are big questions. Let's go in order. First one, it's very easy to find me. joelzeff.com. JOELZEFF.com is my website. And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. And for all your listeners and viewers, if you send me a note and you mention the Ask for Change podcast, I will send you a free chapter from my new book about change, the chapter about change. It's a cool PDF. I will send that to you for free, and then it'll entice you to go purchase the whole book.
That's right.
Right choice, lead with passion, elevate your team, and unleash the fun at work. And I should have a copy right here.
Right there.
But I usually am in a different part of where I record these podcasts, but I'm having some painting done.
Okay.
So I did not bring my book down here. So imagine it. And so connect with me on LinkedIn or through the website, mention the Ask for Change podcast, and I will send you the free chapter on change. What's the one thing? What's the one choice? I think that's great. I would say make that choice to embrace change. Change is constant. Disruption is constant. We don't control we don't control the change. We don't control whether it's a new regulation or the economy or competition or somebody made a mistake or something didn't arrive in the mail. I don't control any of that. I only control how I react to change. And that's what I want your listeners. If we're talking about one choice on the Ask for Change podcast, we have to talk about change.
That's right.
As improv teaches us to embrace the change. We don't control it. We only react. People think in improv, they think the person who instigates or starts or brings the idea, that's the funny. The funny is the person who reacts. That's the power. The power is how somebody reacts. And so you have that power. And when you wake up in the morning, we don't choose to be frustrated and impatient and stressed. We don't eat breakfast and put on our pants and go to work and go, man, I'm going to be real negative and frustrated with everybody. And it's going to be a great day. You're letting that change choose your frustration. And your choice, the one thing I want you to think about is how can we turn this around and learn how to react to change, to embrace it. And how we react is let's be positive. Let's be helpful, supportive, patient, understanding. I think that'll all lead to less stress, more passion, more success, and more joy. That's the one choice I want to leave with your listeners, to embrace change, to learn that we only control how we react to change. And we can make that choice.
And who doesn't want more success, more passion, more energy? Joel, I thank you so much for joining us today for another episode of Ask for Change. Listeners, we're going to have all that great information in the show notes. Wrap this up, send it out. Make sure you connect with Joel, you follow Joel, and we'll see you all right back here next week for another episode of Ask for Change. And remember, together, we're going to turn all of this uncertainty into your greatest competitive advantage. We'll see you next week.